The cosecant and secant points come from the sine and cosine points. They're reciprocals of each other. So if the sine is 0, or 0 over 1, the reciprocal of that is going to be 1 over 0, which is undefined. 1, or 1 over 1, reciprocal is 1 over 1, which is 1. 0, or 0 over 1, the reciprocal of that is 1 over 0, which is undefined. Negative 1, or negative 1 over 1, reciprocal is 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. And 0 is 0 over 1, so reciprocal is 1 over 0, which is undefined. You can do the same with secant from cosine. So when we plot those points, at 0 it's undefined, which means there's going to be a vertical asymptote. At pi over 2 it's 1. At pi it's undefined. At 3 pi over 2 it's negative 1. And at 2 pi it's undefined. If we were to plot more points in between those points, we would see that it actually goes like this. So as the sine is increasing, the cosecant is decreasing, and as the sine is decreasing, the cosecant is increasing. That's going to be the same with cosine. So at 0 we have 1, at pi over 2 is undefined, at pi it's negative 1, 3 pi over 2 is undefined, and 2 pi is 1. And if we were to graph more points, we would see that it looks like this. Notice the periods for both cosecant and secant are 2 pi. It takes that long until it repeats again. And again, there's no amplitude, just like with cotangent and tangent, there's no amplitude because there's no min or max. And when you graph transformations of cosecant and secant, what I like to do is I actually go ahead and graph the sine and cosine graphs, and then anytime the sine graph intersects the midline, that's where we have an asymptote. So here, here, here. Same with cosine, anytime it intersects the midline, there's an asymptote for secant. And then anytime there's a max for sine or a max for cosine, there's going to be a min for cosecant or a min for secant. And anytime there's a min for sine or cosine, there's going to be a max for cosecant and secant.